So before I clean it, I thought I'd have a look inside the guts and see what we've got. This is the control board. It actually looks pretty good. It's well laid out. It's all nice and neat. I don't think there's any conformal coating on it, so any rubbish that gets on it's going to blow that little board, I'm guessing. But it was interesting because I noticed when I was mucking around with it that, you know, raising and lowering this so-called security guard didn't do anything. And I found out it's because just flopping around inside is the actual safety switch. Again, a nice, looks pretty high quality, but was not bolted in. And I guess those two nuts and bolts that I found floating around, it was meant to actually attach this underneath there. Now, I'm going to end up removing this anyway, but the bad thing about having this floating around is that there's a bunch of live contacts in there. So if it was to short, things could have been short-lived. Anyway, I'm going to remove that, bolt that into the two holes there that was actually made for it with the ones that I found in the bottom of the box, and so it's kept out of the way. Check out the swarf on this. And that's a non-machine part. It is just covered in rubbish. And here's the front panel. There's not actually much to see in there. Looks pretty, I don't know, pretty empty really. It's all a bit blurry. A lot of light, just the cable goes through. Nothing to service, so that'll just get bolted back on. And I want to have a look at what's in this gearbox, because when I was mucking around with it, some of these changes were really quite clunky and gritty and making a strange noise. It feels like there's some access points under this sticker, but before I pull that off, I notice here on the side, some of the screws are even loose. Looks like you can get access through this plate, so I'll have a look at what's under there. No, looks like you don't really get access to much under that plate, so that'll go back on, and looks like I'm going to be peeling off those stickers, trying to remove those knobs to see what is in there. There's a little grub screw that's awkward to get out under there that I'm hoping releases it. As you can see, it's covered in swarf or grinding dust or something. I still can't wobble this off, so I'll have to have a think. I found another grub screw behind the sticker, but again, doesn't seem to want to come off, unless I have to get behind the big sticker. I don't know what's actually holding those in place. Okay, well, there are bolts that sit behind the sticker. It's obviously not meant to be user stuff aroundable for it, because you don't get an Allen key in that size, but it takes this whole unit off. So this whole gearbox, I guess, is one unit, and that's what we have inside. So that's the whole unit there. I heard some stuff fall onto the floor. Those two pieces there, I think, fell out of whatever this muck is in here. But that's what's driving that shaft, unless, I don't know where that ball bearing and cap goes. Actually, there was also a spring on the ground. So I seem to have a spring, a ball bearing, and a very flimsy little metal cap that I presume is involved. Okay, I worked out what they are, or at least the ball bearing and the spring. Don't know what this random stuff is that might not even be part of it. It's the bit that goes under here, and it adjusts the locking position. So there's obviously something milled at the back there that then sort of goes click click, and that's against the ball. So I will reinstall them and see how it goes. So what do you reckon I should do? Should I try to clean out the factory grease repack it. Playing with the actual knobs and the little grub screws with the ball bearing and the spring, it clearly adjusts a sort of feeling for when they sort of slide into the right thing. I'm not sure the actual spacing's quite right. You've got to sort of jiggle it around to get it into the right mesh of gears. So I don't know if I should just bolt it on and be done with it, if I should clean it up any further. What do you guys think? Thanks.